And then, so the thing about the other thing, I'm going in a different direction here, but the thing is now is that when you have someone in Adam Pee Wee before they go to AAA, if you got goal scorers instead of getting, and I think this is good. I think your goal scorers will be goal scorers, right? They're going to dominate games. They're going to have the puck on their stick more. They're going to make plays. You can actually, as a coach, can teach them like, okay, you got the puck on your stick the whole time. You got 4 goals today in the first 2 periods. When you get the puck, start looking for other guys, and it's like creating creativity and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get guys that are on the bubble of maybe they would be on AAA, maybe they wouldn't, but now they're playing good hockey. They're just going to get better. And that's if I had a solution, that would be it. But it's not going to happen because what's happening now is it's everything becomes more. So what used to be AAA is not good enough anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's got to be AAA plus. It's got to be the best team ever. It's got to be, now the new thing to me is the academies.
Mm-hmm.
So what a lot of kids are doing is finding academies to go to, because what the academies do, so we'll go to Toronto, let's say. So a lot of the kids go to an academy during the day, which means that they're going on the ice with their school academy and whatever. And I think it's a really good model, to be honest with you, to be able to go to school and inside your school, now it depends on where your head's at.
Yeah.
If school is the most important thing, then the school needs to be really good. If people say school is the most important thing, but their actions a lot of times show that hockey is the most important thing. So if school is the most important thing, make sure it's at a good school. But anyways, what these things are is, as you go, everyone knows what they are. You go to school, and either in the morning or at some part of the day, it's hockey, where you're training with supposedly a good trainer, and some of them are very good. Some of them are ex-NHLers. Some of them are just business models, right? Trying to make as much money as you can. So you got to be kind of careful of what those are. Some of them are horrible. Some of them are really good. But then at night, you're playing with your AAA team. So you're playing with the Marlies or whoever it is. Like, this is the Toronto. And they're starting to pop up all over the place. And I do like the model. I actually do like the model, because if I could design that model now, but there's another host of issues, right? So if you can design that model where you had, let's say this area had 1 or 2 private schools. Or is that what they're called? Private schools? Private school?
Yeah.
London has 1 or 2, whatever. So now you're getting rid of a little bit of the politics of the Hockey Canada thing, and you can actually go and get your own players. But now you can get them from all over the place. Because you can have international students and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But what happens now is it's the same problem over and over. You try to become super elite.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
and the cost of the school,
and then
too,
the cost.
though, right?
And now the cost is going off the charts. But now I know some of them would probably give some scholarship money or whatever, but that's not what they're in business for.
Yeah.
So but I like that model. But then the other side of it, what I don't like about that model, unless it was just the model like the US has, where it's like you play high school hockey, and like in Minnesota, the high school hockey is your team, and then you go to the next level.
Well, yeah, because that's a whole other element too, right? It's like if they started to get into developing like a high school system where it's like it would end up being effectively the same thing I'm talking about, where it's instead of having your AAA rate from your 10, instead you're just playing local. Like if you played all your local high schools, there'd be 15 teams, right? So it's like you just do that, and then you can have your whatever high school team moves on to do their like for in Ontario, it's you have your in Windsor, it's called WEXA, where you do like all the Windsor Essex County schools, and then you go to Southwestern Ontario, and then you go to all Ontario if you win kind of thing. Or you could do the same select model where you have like a high school all-star team. We used to in high school we had the high school all-star team, but it didn't mean anything. It was just like a symbolic who's on the all-star team kind of thing. But that is more or less what they have in the States, where it's like you move up. I don't really understand the minor or the youth hockey in the States, because most kids just go up. If you're in a hockey state, you go and you play high school. Like there's not the same emphasis on AAA, because high school is a legit option.
Certain states, right? Certain states, yeah.
Like I know Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida.
Michigan's got a huge AAA thing.
Yeah, they have a huge AAA thing, but you can still go play. Yeah, you can still play high school. Like that's a legit alternative option.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the cost necessarily is for playing high school there, but it wouldn't be. I don't know. I wouldn't imagine it's the same as going and paying to go to a private school or academy or something like that, right?
But the other problem I was going to say about the private school, so like as good as that sounds, the one thing that I think I don't like about the academy model currently is that sometimes I think it's too much ice.
Oh, for sure.
So you have, and
Totally.
I've seen this, man. Like, okay, so here's an example. I've got a group of kids that are skating with me now, and they have too much ice. I see it. They are not focused. They just look at a skate as just another skate.
Yep.
The teachable moments I have are few and far between. And it's hard to teach because they're not. It's just another day on the ice. So that's what I see with the model of while you're playing AAA. So if you're going to an academy while you're playing AAA hockey, it's like you're on the ice so much. Like how many of those sessions on the ice are you actually truly focused to make yourself better?
Mhm.
The other thing is you have two different. Not that this is necessarily bad, but you got maybe someone telling you something different than when you're coach. Maybe this guy's promoting your individualism. This guy's trying to be a team guy. There's a lot of things that aren't good, but for real, I think it's too much hockey, too much on ice, and I think that if it was limited to maybe a couple times a week, it would be good. Couple 3 times a week, and play AAA. That's fine, but I think it's way too much. And I think that hurts you.
Oh, that's for sure. We say that all the time, man. Guys, like that's the other thing that's hard to drill into people's head is that more ice isn't better. You know, to a degree, more ice can be better, but it isn't always better. And the younger you are, the worse it is because if you're just always on the ice all the time, it's hard enough to teach kids. Like I got a group in here on Thursday nights that we do some off ice stuff because the dad was asking to do off ice stuff, and it's like you can, but the kids don't care. So for you to pay to have this a place like this where it's actually attempting to do focused teaching of actual things to help you, they just want to have fun, man. Like they just want to mess around and have fun and play games. And that's not a bad thing. It's just not worth necessarily worth your money or worth your time to come and have them spend it here when they don't really care about what the message is, you know? And that's the same thing you find with guys when you do your skill sessions. It's like, yeah, the more ice you guys can come and do the session, but this is something that would actually benefit you. So maybe instead of the 10 other things you're doing, maybe cut off some of the deadwood and come and spend your time more focused in one place, right? Because that's like such a common thing, especially now with the academy stuff, or even in our area, all the high schools now have hockey academies and stuff. And they're not high end good things. Like they're just it's ice and it's for like it's an activity. It's more like an activity than it's not like training. It's not and some are better than others and whatever, but it's like it's just extra
Yeah,
ice.
and
It's like
that's my other point is like, yeah, like you said, there's the smaller Hockey Canada academies that the high schools have, and it's like for the general population, good.
yeah,
They get to go to a hockey class, I guess.
yeah,
That's good. But for the kids that are actually serious about hockey, it's not good,
yeah.
in my opinion, because it's ice that is not real focus and high intensity, or you're not learning a whole bunch. So like, what's the point? But people think like more is better,
Yeah.
and it's really not.
Well, and parents have a hard time understanding that too, because I remember I was talking to one of our guys that we train here. He's has this academy option at his school, and he was in it last year. And so I was talking to dad on the phone this year, and he was saying like, "Hey, like with your workouts that I do outside of the academy, because I also help teach this off ice for this academy." He was saying, "Well, because he's coming to see you with the academy a few times a week, maybe we won't do the workouts that you do at night, like after that he does with his team." Yeah, and that's exactly what I said to him. I was like, man, the workouts that I do with the academy are not geared towards elite level hockey players, which your son is trying to be one, right? This is for like kids that have never been in the gym before, because most of them are just they play house league or low level travel hockey where they're not super serious. So this is not appropriate for what he's trying to do. So I would get yourself out of the academy. Like don't do that, and then come to the workouts with the team that or with the small group of buddies that he has that he plays AAA with, because that is a serious workout to his level. It's not this other crap, right? So not to mention the timing and all these other things about it. So he ended up good for him listening, and he stopped doing the hockey academy because it's not actually helping. It's actually just taking away his resources, making him more tired, making him expend more energy than he needs to when he should be saving it for more focused attention on something else, right? And that's what I find with a lot of people that are in youth hockey. It's like it's everything. Let's try to do everything. So you can't, man. It's going to make your kid not like it, you know?
Yeah.
So